What's up, everybody? It's time to talk movies. Welcome to the POVincent podcast. I'm your host, Vincent Didiano. And with me, of course, is my friend, my buddy, my pal, my compadre, my comedic comrade, the human megahorn, Eric Williams. Eric, what's up, man?
I just wish I had a glass of water to offer you after that 45 minutes of announcing me.
I am rather parched, if I may say so. That's rather parched.
Yeah.
Well, might get a little dehydrated. I don't know.
I'm just saying, if there's anyone out there with drinks who wants to, wants to prevent Vince from dying of dehydration or give us sponsorship, we'll probably say yes, so long as there's not sucralose in it.
I agree. I think we're on the same page here. Water or sponsorship? I'll take. Anyway, hydration or profit, either one. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, so we got enough. We also another one of these nights. We got a lot to talk about here.
Vince, we're nerds. We always have a lot to talk about.
For this episode, contained within this episode, as we try to contain ourselves, because we were talking about stuff before the show that we ain't gonna have time. We ain't got time to talk about that tonight. Maybe.
So what are we talking about tonight, Vince?
Well, we'll move backwards tonight.
We're time travel.
Exactly. We got a couple of movie reviews for you guys tonight. We'll be doing a review of the new Matthew McConaughey and Anne Hathaway film Serenity.
You know what I like about high school girls?
What's that, Eric?
I keep getting older. They're still proficient in algebra.
I didn't see that one coming. I enjoyed the trajectory you took.
Kind of like the square root of 144. BAM!
Welcome to the POVincent Mathematics Podcast. No. But yeah, so we're going to be doing a review of Serenity. Before that, we're going to be doing a review of Dragon Ball Super Broly. And before that, we're going to talk about the 2019 Academy Award nominations that came out just a few days ago. You know, we're not going to go over the whole thing. There's too much to talk about, but we're going to. But first, the first subject of tonight, ladies and gentlemen, is a follow-up to a story we were talking about last week, the new Ghostbusters film. Yes. So last week it was announced that a new Ghostbusters film, a sequel set in the original Ghostbusters continuity, a.k.a. it follows the events of the first two, will be directed and written by Jason Reitman, son of Ivan Reitman, the man who directed the first film. Now, as we
also sounds like it would be the name of the villain in the third movie, just Ivan Reitman.
Yeah. He's back. I thought I left him in my past.
Except this time, he's got two right hands.
Anyway, now, for those of you watching on the live stream, you've noticed that we have Leslie Jones up on the screen, who was one of the characters in the 2016 reboot. Now, the reason why she's up is that she is the topic of the story. And Leslie Jones, who most people you either know her for the Ghostbusters or for being a cast member on Saturday Night Live, she is not happy about the announcement of this new film. According to an article on comicbook.com, which I did post to the POVincent Facebook and Twitter page, Leslie Jones took to Twitter after the announcement was made of the new movie and tweeted this. So insulting. Like, fuck us. We didn't count? It's like something Trump would do. Parentheses, Trump voice. Gonna redo Ghostbusters. Better with men. We'll be huge. Those women ain't Ghostbusters. Back to her. Ugh, so annoying. Such a dick move, and I don't give a fuck. I'm saying something. Now, obviously,
I like suck a dick move better.
Yeah.
That should be a phrase. Leslie Jones should make that a thing.
Yes. Now, before we start the subject, there's a few more tweets to go over here. So somebody on Twitter tweeted at her and about the subject. Somebody on Twitter by the name of Make Magic Not War, period, bitches, period. That's their name on Twitter. Make magic, not war, bitches. I think there's some grammar issues there, but whatever. This person tweeted, the only reason dude bros come at Leslie Jones about another Ghostbusters is because she won't take their shit. She stands up for the women. Let's be real. They don't have access to the others, but they'll get a fight with Leslie. They ain't shit for thinking anything they say counts. To which Leslie Jones tweeted at this person in a much more calmer state of mind compared to her previous tweet. It's very sad that this is a response I get. When the point is, if they make this new one with all men and it does well, which it will, it might feel that boys are better. It makes my heart drop. Maybe I could have used different words, but I'm allowed to have my feelings just like them. All right, so let's go. So before the 2016 movie even came out, Leslie Jones had deactivated her Twitter account because she was getting tons and tons of online harassment, right? And even after the movie came out, the movie was very divisive. There are fans of that 2016 film. I have friends who did enjoy it. Me, I thought it was okay. I thought it was just okay. And people continued to lash out about it. And, famously, the trailer for the movie has the most downvotes in YouTube history or something like that, or at least the most downvotes for a movie trailer, I should say, because I think the most downvotes now belongs to that YouTube Rewind video they did a month ago. But yeah, Leslie Jones, who I seen on Saturday Night Live, I think she's very funny. All the female Ghostbusters, Kristen Wiig, Kate McKinnon, Melissa McCarthy, they're all talented, either comedians or actors / comedy, actors. So I honestly, I do feel sort of bad for them because all of them got a lot of online harassment. There's still this mentality that the movie didn't do well because there was so many just misogynistic or sexist people, guys, the basement dweller nerds who can't let go of their childhood or something like that. And here's the thing. I think honestly that was a minority of the fan base when you really look over stuff. They're this thing I call the boisterous minority. They're a group of people. You can see them with movies. You can see them with political groups, all this stuff, where they seem like they're louder than they really are. It's just the internet makes them seem like there's more than there are, right? And that's what I really genuinely believe happened with the 2016 Ghostbusters movie. There are definitely motherfuckers who got sexist and misogynistic and came at Leslie Jones. And if you're one of those people that just attacked her because you thought this, just for that simple reason where you didn't want to see a female Ghostbuster, get over yourself, all right? You just pull it back. There's been female Ghostbusters before, okay? The friggin' cartoon, Janine in the Ghostbusters cartoon was a Ghostbuster in a couple episodes. In one episode, she literally saved the whole team. And then in the 90s cartoon, the Extreme Ghostbusters, because it was the 90s and they just slapped Extreme on everything. There was yet another female Ghostbuster who I can't remember the character's name. But she went on and lived on in several Ghostbusters comics. And also, I really don't think that was the problem. The problem with the movie in my opinion, is that the script sucked. Why do I say that? Because it was found out later after the movie came out that Paul Feig would let the actors go off script, improv, and ad-lib for an hour, 2 hours at a time. And that's the problem with the film. The film is always constantly trying to be funny. There's no lull points where characters are just talking or going over stuff. They're constantly streamed of trying to be funny, and that's why so many of the jokes didn't land, because everybody's trying to be funny all the time. None of the characters are really that realistic. Most of them were cartoony. Leslie Jones, God bless her, she was the most grounded character in the friggin' film. She still had her moments, but yeah, I'm sorry. So for all of you guys and gals, whatever you like to call yourself out there, go by, I should say, identify. I'm getting caught up in the semantics there, but if you enjoyed the 2016 film, good. Honestly, it's great. But can we stop pretending that this film was some kind of signal for the future of feminism? Because that was just Sony being idiot movie studio, knowing that the film had problems and just mediaed the crap out of that angle of the movie. In my, that's how I saw it. Because they knew the movie was going to have problems, so they tried to make it out to be that this movie represented feminism, and anybody who was against it was, sexist or whatever. And I think things really got blown out of proportion. I wish the movie had been better. I want it to be better. Paul Feig has directed funny movies before in the past, and once again, there's a lot of good talent in the main cast. So I wanted this to work, and there were jokes in the movie that were funny. I laughed at multiple points in the movie, multiple points, but for every time I laughed at a good joke, it was followed up by a bad joke. So, and honestly, once again, Leslie Jones took a lot of shit online, so I can see why she kind of raged on Twitter. But yeah, at the same time, I can see why Sony isn't going through with a sequel to that to the reboot. It's just not there.
I just want to see Leslie Jones star in a movie called Ballbusters.
Oh god, that could be around that could be an SNL skit.
At the very least.
Oh man, I really went off on a damn little rant over there. Was there anything you wanted to add, Eric? I went off.
I still haven't seen that movie. And it's not like I just like you
you weren't avoiding it. You just
yeah, like it didn't come to HBO when it hasn't popped on the streaming services. My girlfriend saw it, said it was pretty good. Like, and it's one of those where I think the bigger thing that you were really addressing, because there's a lot of politics involved in things often, but I think the most relevant thing that you're hitting on is the biggest difference, I think, between the first two Ghostbusters and the 2016 Ghostbusters. Sony didn't make the first two Ghostbusters.
No, they didn't.
And they did not have Harold Ramis to write the script for the 2016 Ghostbusters.
No, he unfortunately had passed at that point. Not that there wasn't a Ghostbusters 3 script. It was like passed around for years and years.
Dan Aykroyd has been trying to get made for like infinity since like Driving Miss Daisy or Evolution, because those are the last like semi-big films he did.
Yeah.
I'm making fun of someone who's had more success than I probably ever will, and I'm not going to stop.
No, don't stop. We work in comedy. That doesn't matter how shitty we are. We judge other people with creativity and wit. Little cynicism in there.
Dan Aykroyd was actually in town relatively recently.
Oh yeah, really? I remember him being in town like a year and a half ago for Crystal Skull Vodka. Oh, he came back to sell some more Crystal Skull?
He did. He during big surprise, the month of October.
Oh, okay, great.
That has to be the biggest month for Crystal Skull Vodka, because no one buys that for the vodka.
Apparently, I had it one time. You know me, I'm a beer guy. I don't really, but I had it one time. You know what? I'd have it again. It's a nice vodka. It's smooth. It's not one of those like hardcore vodkas that makes you feel like like there's like flames and like sulfur in your fucking throat. It actually goes down nice, and I'd have it again.
Would you pay $50 for it?
I would, but it'd be like, this is a special occasion vodka. We're going to bust this out special occasions.
See, I feel like your answer should have been depended on whether or not Dan Aykroyd's willing to give us sponsorship.
We are not currently sponsored by Crystal Skull Vodka, but
if we did, Vince would tell you how smooth it is, really even more.
Yeah, so smooth.
Look at that. Almost as smooth as Vince himself.
Yes. See that, ladies? Let's go back to my place. Sit in front of the space heater and have some Crystal Skull vodka.
I just come back to my place and sit in front of the space heater.
This is a good episode so far. I'm enjoying myself. I don't know about you, bro, but I'm enjoying myself. Oh, goddamn.
I'm having fun.
Good. A few things to mention about this new upcoming Ghostbusters film. There hasn't been a lot released yet, but so far the previous cast seems to be on board. I'm not sure about Bill Murray, considering he was one of the reasons Ghostbusters 3 never happened. He didn't want to do it. The only reason why he was in the 2016 film was basically Sony bullied him into it via legal reasons. And you can tell when you watch the 2016 movie that he is just like, why am I here? I guess I'm getting paid. I don't know. He doesn't want to be. And even like that on Jimmy Kimmel when they had like the new cast on and the old cast, and because all the entire old cast cameoed in the film as different characters, of course. But Bill Murray, like on that, you can tell like he doesn't. He's just kind of he's like not even going through like the motions, like going through like technically we're moving because the earth is moving, that kind of motion. Like he had nothing to do with it, Bill Murray. Nothing to do. So I know Dan Aykroyd and Ernie Hudson are down for it. Dan Aykroyd, obviously, as we just discussed, he's been trying to do it. Ernie Hudson, who's actually a good actor, but he just gets nothing but small, shitty roles.
For the record, we can say he wanted nothing to do with it, but he still agreed to be like, again, if in order to get Bill Murray for something, you have to fucking get hold of Bill Murray.
Yes.
You can't blackmail his agent or kidnap his manager's daughter. Like, you have to get Bill fucking Murray. That's not easy, man.
No, it's not.
Unless he just randomly shows up at your child's bar mitzvah, which he might.
He does. Yeah, I'm gonna say. Just like they said, send out hundreds and thousands of drones all over the city, just waiting for him to pop up. It's like, holy crap, holy shit, is that Bill Murray? Oh my god, holy crap, that's Bill Murray. He's at a Chuck E. Cheese. Go fucking figure. Wow. Holy crap, he just stole the microphone off the animatronic Chuck. Gee, oh, he's going at it, man. He's just doing some stand-up. Well, let's go to Chuck E. Cheese. I think I still got some tokens from when I was 5. Anyway. But anyway, another few things about the film is that what little we know about is that the new team will be teenagers, which I guess I'm a little indifferent to that. It doesn't bug me. It doesn't, make me go, woo. But it'll be two guys, 2 gals. So it's not going to be, they're not going back to an all-male team or going back to all-female. They're doing half and half. So, which is, I think, is what most people expected from the 2016 reboot when it was first announced before the casting, because the casting was announced like a full year before the trailer even came out. That's what I was expecting. I was expecting to be like two women, 2 guys, but so I think that's a good place to start off at, just as like, what were the fans expecting? Let's give them a little, I'm sure. It's a whole new team. That's all we know so far, but I think. The whole Leslie Jones thing. Once again, I understand why she raged. I get it. She took a lot of friggin' heat, for that from a lot of dumbasses. But yeah. So I think we'll. I think that's all we got to say about this subject, and we're gonna move on. With Eric, anything else you wanted to add, throw down?
When are they gonna make a remake of Scrooged?
They made a remake of Scrooged. It was called Scrooged.
Made another Scrooged?
Well, Scrooge itself is a remake of A Christmas Carol, which is my favorite Christmas story.
I mean, okay. It really is. Okay, yeah.
Yes.
But it's fucking amazing.
Yes.
I mean, you've got Bobcat Goldthwait as the Bob Cratchit character? I'm gonna shoot someone with a shotgun.
God, it would have been funny if there was like a Tiny Tim character, but he isn't disabled, but it was like a ricochet shot from Bobcat Goldthwait's shotgun just hit the kid in the leg.
It's fucked up, man. It's fucked up and hilarious.
Yeah. But enough with my dark humor of injuring children. Let's move on. Ladies and gentlemen, this past week, the 2019 Oscar nominations were revealed to the world. Now, the Oscars kind of been a weird subject the past several months. We had the whole Kevin Hart thing, and they still don't, at this moment, there still is no host, and there's rumors that they just might go hostless, whatever.
This happened before.
It did when?
In 1989, I believe.
Okay, I was 3, so.
Well, I was reading because something been popping up on my Facebook feed. It was like, that time there was no host, and Rob Lowe and Snow White had a duet. And I was like, how can my Facebook feed go into the future? This is so weird. But no, I guess it was from, I think, 1989, which also had me going, how fucking old is Rob Lowe?
Well, remember, he was part of that 80s Rat Pack.
He was, yeah. Brat Pack, yep.
Rat Pack, my apologies. But anyway, so now we're not going to go over all the nominations, because we could take, properly do that would take up a whole episode. So we're not going to do that. We're going to...
What are we going to do, Vincent? What are we going to do?
We're going to start with the Best Picture nominations. And then we're going to go off on little things here and there.
I like the sound of that.
Yes. And I'm getting this list from an article on thewrap.com. So the Best Picture nominees were Black Klansman, Black Panther, Bohemian Rhapsody, The Favorite, Green Book, Roma, A Star is Born, and Vice. And I mean, all these nominees are all racking up multiple nominations. Black Klansman has 6 nominations across all the different categories. Black Panther has 7. And speaking of Black Panther, this is once again, Black Panther is making some historical marks. This is the first superhero film nominated for Best Picture. So, ladies and gentlemen, it's been a whole year since this movie came out, well, almost a whole year. And once again, it's like this, making waves. So this is big. This is big for Marvel. They've been doing this whole MCU thing for a decade now. They've got Academy Award nominations before in the past, usually for special effects, stuff like that. But for Best Picture, this is a big thing for once again, I've said it before, I'll say it again. The MCU will go down in film history as a thing that shouldn't have damn worked. It shouldn't have, and it did. Like Infinity War, I said we talked about, it shouldn't have worked with that many characters. The whole MCU, that is, especially once you include even the TV shows, none of this it should have worked, but they've pulled it off. Not everything the MCU has done has been a winner in my book.
Their hit rate is fucking good.
Oh,
man.
yeah. It's like they got, we got 9 bullseyes and one that just kind of hit the rim.
Like for sports references you probably won't get, but it's like, being like, man, the New England Patriots lose sometimes. Are the San Antonio Spurs really that good? Yes, they fucking are. They fucking are.
Yeah. Bohemian Rhapsody snagged 5 nominations. The Favorite, which is a movie I've got to get.
What the fuck is The Favorite?
The Favorite is that movie with Emma Stone and Rachel Weisz, where it's like set in like Victorian times or something like that. Yeah, I've got to get around to seeing this movie because I keep hearing it like more and more how good it is, and I think it was out of the local theater, but I think I was just busy that week, or like I just work was crazy. I don't know, but I'm gonna get around to. So that's 10 nominations.
You were unstuck in time that weekend, actually. That's what it was. Yeah.
Green Book snagged 5. Roma snagged 10, just as many as The Favorite. Star is Born, my favorite movie of last year that I saw, snagged 7 nominations, and Vice snagged 8.
Vince, I have a gripe here.
Yes.
You were like, Black Panther, first nomination for the MCU.
Mm-hmm.
My impression of you is horrible. You are completely no, it's true, but you're like, here you go, MCU, here you go, and you aren't like, holy shit, Roma, Netflix, you clever sons of biscuits.
Oh yeah, I keep forgetting that was a Netflix fucking movie.
That was a Netflix movie, and didn't they pull something a little tricky, if I remember here?
I do not know. I do not know.
I believe they put it in like a limited theatrical release.
Oh yeah. I remember hearing about this. Yeah, it was a limited theatrical release when it was just like, it was like risky. Nobody was like, and it worked, right?
No, but they did that specifically so that it could get the nominations.
Right. And here's the thing: a few things we're gonna go over. Like, sticking for Roma for a sec. Not only was it nominated for Best Picture, it's also nominated for Best Foreign Picture. So this one, if it wins both, that would be huge. I mean, not only you like Best Picture, Best Foreign Picture, you nab that, you're basically the best movie of the whole year globally. That if it wins both. I don't know if it's going to do that, but we'll see. We shall see.
I'm skeptical about this. Like, I mean, and it's not because it's Netflix. Like, Netflix has shown that they've set the bar high. They can create quality content. But I mean, Vince, really, how good can a movie about tomatoes be?
Hey man, look at the.
Sorry, that was a dumb joke that I was just sitting on.
Look at the long-standing success of Attack of the Killer Tomatoes. Okay, that. I wasn't gonna pull that.
I mean, that franchise did help launch the career of George Clooney and Ketchup. No, seriously, George Clooney is the star of Return.
Oh yeah, I remember hearing
which is actually pretty solid 80s B horror film.
Other little things to note is that The Favorite, both Rachel Weisz, I think how you pronounce her last name, and Emma Stone are both nominated for Best Supporting Female Actress. So they're literally 2 actresses from the same movie in the same category. So they got that little competition.
Not the first time it's happened.
No, not the first time it's happened, but I think still worth noting.
True.
And now let's go over some surprises and snubs. So the article from The Wrap also has a link to another article. Things that surprised me. If Beale Street Could Talk, a film that once again I unfortunately did not see, and now I was like, I should get around to seeing this thing. Did not make the Best Picture category. A lot of people were expecting it to. I'm just kind of surprised it wasn't because the Golden Globes. I watched that, and it was definitely getting a lot of praise there. Other things, Bradley Cooper, who is nominated for Best Actor in that category, did not make Best Director category, for acting and directing in A Star is Born. And I'm not going to go over again how much I love A Star is Born, but I am a little disappointed he didn't make it because, when you make a movie that good and you're the director and one of the main leads, that's a tall order. I don't care who you are. And he pulled it off. So, a little sad, but I guess, still, how many was it, 7? Stars Born, still 7 nominations at the Academy Awards.
I don't know. I feel like the voters were like, oh, you know what? We've snubbed Spike Lee out of this category enough. Cooper, it's your turn. It's your turn. I do want to be clear, though. I think I was actually slightly confused about the term snub because if you remember, we went to see Black Klansman, and I made the statement that night that Spike Lee was going to get snubbed at the Oscars.
And he did not.
Well, no, here's the thing. I want to be clear.
Okay.
I did not realize at the time that he had actually never been nominated for a directing Oscar. And when I'm more used to the term snub being you don't win, not you don't get nominated.
Oh, okay, I get you. Yes, because he is nominated for Best Director this year.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, just go over that one real quick. Nominees for Best Director: Alfonso Cuarón for Roma, Spike Lee for Black Klansman, Adam McKay for Vice, Paweł Pawlikowski for Cold War, and Yorgos Lanthimos for the Lanthimos. I hope I'm pronouncing these right. For The Favorite. Those are the best director nominations. Other little snubs things to go over. Best documentary. Won't You Be My Neighbor? The Mr. Rogers documentary did not get nominated for best documentary film,
despite the fact that it made a shit ton of money for a documentary.
Yeah, and it's
like 20 million plus in theaters.
Yeah, and it's good. I saw it last year. I'm happy I saw it last year. I learned stuff about Mr. Rogers' backstory that I didn't know, how certain characters were created out of necessity or just and just the work he did, what his aims were, hearing from the people who knew him best, family, friends, coworkers, all that stuff. So I'm a little sad that didn't make it. Yeah, that's pretty much the ones I wanted to go over real quick. But so the Oscars, ladies and gentlemen. Now here's something I'm considering doing for Oscar night. I don't know. Eric, I want to run this by you. I'm thinking maybe, and I'm not guaranteeing this, ladies and gentlemen, I'm just throwing this out there, that we, assuming there is no legal reasons we wouldn't be allowed to do this, I want to do a live stream a viewing party for the Oscars. Eric, if I decide to do that, would you be down?
Yeah, bud. Yeah.
Okay, cool. It wouldn't be just me and you. I'm going to invite a few other people to have a good time. So I'm going to try and scope around, see who wants to do this. So, ladies and gentlemen,
I get it. A hoity-toity Oscars orgy. I get it.
Yeah. Well, you're going to, Star is Born. Yeah. Your best soundtrack. No. Okay.
Guess what we do with the Oscar at the end of everything?
Oh, God, we're going to have to polish it afterwards, aren't we? Maybe polish it before, too. Hey-oh! Oh! I
We're
am
bad people.
Fucking weird. Anyway. We're having a good time tonight, ladies and gentlemen. It's a good fucking time. But anyway, so guys, stay tuned for that. We'll be, of course, if we do it, which I feel like I am probably. We'll be live streaming on Facebook unless there's some legal reason we couldn't do that. Gonna see some comments on the live stream from our friend Joey Purse. Joey Purse is tuning in tonight, a local comedian here in Pittsburgh, and I think we've kept now Joey. I posted on our Facebook when we were that I was going to go see the Dragon Ball movie, and Joey wanted to hear my thoughts about it. So I don't think we should keep Mr. Purse waiting any longer. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for our review of Dragon Ball Super.
I don't know. I feel like we should keep him waiting because he said that Night School should win Best Picture. And that's just like, I mean, I don't care how much you like a certain actor, director, whatever. That's being like, Anchorman should have won, but no, fucking shouldn't have. No, just no. Like, Old School should, no, it shouldn't have. Shut up. Eric, you're just naming movies that came out at least 15 years ago. I'm old, shut up. But yeah, so you were talking about Dragon Ball Super.
Here's a review of Dragon Ball Super Broly. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the third Dragon Ball movie to be released in theaters here in America in the past several years. First, we had Dragon Ball Z Battle of Gods, which was followed by Dragon Ball Z Resurrection F, two movies that revived the Dragon Ball franchise and brought us a new series, Dragon Ball Super. So this new movie is got a special place for Dragon Ball. All the previous movies, and there's a ton of them. None of them fit into the continuity of the series. All of them are their own. You could argue each individual movie is its own continuity. Even the two previous films I mentioned technically do not fit in the series, but were both taken and spread out to 20 episodes to be part of the show's storyline. All the other movies don't fit in because oh wait, how are they fighting this guy when they would be in the middle of fighting this guy? But this movie is actually continuity. So for the first time in the franchise, one of the most famous Dragon Ball villains, Broly, the legendary Super Saiyan, is now part of the show's continuity. He is history. He's not just some character from the movie that has its own universe or whatever. He is now officially part of Dragon Ball Super. So, and before I get into the review, one more heads up. I want everyone to know I am currently watching Dragon Ball Super as it comes out in America. I know they're much farther ahead in Japan, but this movie is based on takes place after the Tournament of Power. So if you're watching in America and you're not, and we're barely starting the Tournament of Power. There's going to be spoilers in this movie. I knew this going in, but honestly, the spoilers didn't bother me that much. It wasn't as surprise. So just wanted to throw that out there. But anyway, on to the review of the movie. So the movie takes place where it's a reboot of the villain Broly, about a Saiyan child born with unusually high power level, so bad that the king of the Saiyans, King Vegeta, father of Vegeta, one of the characters from the series, tries to have Broly killed, basically, but his father raises him to be a powerful warrior, to use his unnatural power and to get revenge against King Vegeta, who is unfortunately dead, so they go after Vegeta, his son. Now, that was basically the plot of the original Broly movie. This one is kind of the same. They do... Let's get into this. So they redo Broly's backstory in this one, because this is technically a reboot of the character. There's some basic still elements from the original backstory, but they have changed certain things to the fact where they basically flush out his backstory a lot more. As I said previously, his backstory is pretty simple, straightforward. This one, they actually spent a good chunk of the movie going over his backstory, his father's motivations for using him as a weapon, all that stuff. And by doing so, they've actually made Broly a much more layered character. The original Broly, for the most part, was just a ruthless killing machine. You know, he had some lines in the original Broly movie, but he was pretty much straightforward. He is a victim of his own power. He can't control his power. He goes crazy. He kills everybody in his way, and he enjoys it.
Everybody?
Yeah, everybody.
Everybody!
We're talking about a character that can wipe out planets, and you're like, everybody!
Hooray! Armageddon!
Everybody's dying. But anyway, so yeah, they really add more layers to the character to the point where he actually has multiple speaking lines throughout the course of the film. He interacts with other characters and doesn't kill them. And actually, he wants to interact with them. This Broly isn't as bloodthirsty as the original Broly. He fights because his father raised him to do so. And it's actually, they make Broly a sympathetic villain, unlike his previous incarnation. This may anger some Dragon Ball fans, but honestly, I think it really is to the movie's benefit. It makes, him much more interesting. And don't get me wrong, I enjoyed the old Broly. He's basically DBZ's Hulk. He's just this big, super and muscular guy that just blows through everybody, and nobody is as strong as he is. So I actually enjoyed the fact that they made him more of a character. He's sympathetic. You get, he was raised on a horrible, barren planet, and his father just had one ambition for him. You are gonna kill. You just really know nothing for him. And with this one, you get where Broly is. You see his mentality. And you're like, oh, he's a character. I'm interested. I'm going to follow it. And it just really, honestly, I really think it works to the movie's benefit to make this, to really make the character more than what it was before. Before he was just an enjoyable thing, a villain to stop. That's it. He's the muscle villain. He's not much to him. They fight, and it's enjoyable, but this just adds more to it, and I really like that. Let's talk about the animation real quick. Because this is a Dragon Ball movie and not a show, they were able to, get a much more, got more of a budget for this one, and it really shows in the art and the animation. All the animation is very fluid, and which makes for much more realistic movements from the characters. And at the same time, the action is the most fast-paced I think I've ever seen in Dragon Ball. And it just makes the action so much more awesome, so much more exciting. Just the impacts hit really hard. The blasts were shiny, and the mesmerizing, like, holy crap! That's a Super Saiyan transformation, right? And there is a little bit of a mix of like CG animation in there, but it's a little bit, but it's woven there in a way where, like, honestly, I almost didn't pick up on it, but it's done well, and it's still 2D. This is a mostly 2D animated, but I saw bits of CGI here and there, but they wove it in properly, where it's not like it's not overused. That's what I'm trying to say, where they put in the parts where it needs to be, everything else. And here's the thing about the art. I want to talk about the art style, because animation is how the characters move, art is how they're drawn. The art style is a little different from the show. It's still nice. All the characters are still recognizably them. Nobody's like, oh, is that supposed to be Goku? It's not like that. Everybody's recognizable. But it switches. The art style switches, where at certain points in the movie, the characters are drawn the way they were drawn in the 90s. And it got that nostalgia feel going for me, because the art style of the show has changed over years because of the studio that does Dragon Ball. They've changed art style a bit. So it was nice seeing this kind of like switching of art. Like in a lot of the fight scenes, there's like, you see kind of the old school art style. But then there are certain moments where the character's just talking and chilling, and Goku's being the goof that he is. And
that's silly Goku.
Yeah. Oh, he gets so. Oh, just real quick, we're talking about comedy. There are comedic moments in this film where if this joke was in any other movie, it wouldn't work. But because it's in Dragon Ball, it works, and it's fucking funny. There was a few moments in the movie where I was really laughing. I was like, that's a Dragon Ball joke. It just doesn't work anywhere else. It wouldn't work. You try to put that in like Avengers, it wouldn't work.
What did they show Goku being a bad dad again?
No, they avoided that this time. There's Bulma, one of the oldest characters in the series. Her and Goku, the two original characters from all the way back in Dragon Ball. Minor spoiler: she's collecting the Dragon Balls, and she wants to make a wish that is like remember, you collect the 7 Dragon Balls, you summon the Eternal Dragon, it grants you one wish. The wish that she wants is so petty, it is so vain and just like selfish. Like, she could wish for anything. She could wish like cancer away forever. But no, her wish is just so it fits the character, and it's funny. And then the joke was followed up later in the film. Like, oh my god, okay, it worked. Dragon Ball humor is working.
Oh, you goofball.
Yeah. Now, a detriment to the film is that even though Goku and Vegeta are two main heroes of the series, are in this film, and they have their great action moments, going Super Saiyan God, going Super Saiyan Blue, which sounds like it'd be weaker than Super Saiyan God, but it's not. It's actually the transformation above that, because the Japanese Akira Toriyama's an interesting man, because one of the things they introduced with the new Dragon Ball Super series was like a literal God mode. You would think before in the series they basically had God modes. No, now there's a literal God mode. It was called Super Saiyan God. And then later they did this, where it's like Super Saiyan God combined with the Super Saiyan transformation. And the original name for it in Japan was Super Saiyan God Super Saiyan. And everybody was like, that's fucking stupid. We're just going to call it Super Saiyan Blue, because that's what color the hair is. Anyway, so... but the problem is that Goku and Vegeta really don't get any development in this series. In fact, there's a good chunk of the film.
Wait, Goku doesn't get development? You mean a character who, and I don't mean to shit on Dragon Ball here. It might sound that
No, it's
for a
okay.
minute, but a character who can basically be defined as being like Rocky if he didn't care about Adrian.
Oh.
No, he's just like, I need to work out to get stronger. That's the entire thing. In fact, which was my comment about him being a bad dad. I didn't understand memes. I think Sheena is very into anime.
Oh, she is, yes.
And
Miss Macross, how's it going?
She explained to me the Guardians of the Galaxy 2 meme where it's Star-Lord and
Yondu.
Star-Lord and Yondu, except with the hair of
a Super Saiyan?
Yeah, Super Saiyan hair, and then Yondu looks like Piccolo.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Because of the running thing in fucking Dragon Ball where Piccolo really raised Gohan. Like,
oh, yeah. No, that's something that's been brought up multiple times, that Goku is actually not that great of a father. He's definitely had his moments in the series where he's been a good father, but because of the nature of his character, it has led him to make very poor decisions. Some of the decisions with Gohan, I can't blame Goku too much, because there's several years in the series where Goku really isn't with his son, and he doesn't... Like one moment people like to bring up is like during the Cell games where Goku like might have been able to beat Cell, but he lets Gohan take on Cell because he believes that Gohan has this inner power. Now, eventually, Goku is proven correct. Gohan unleashes his inner power, takes control of it, and is able to beat Cell. But there's a good part where it's like Cell is really beating the shit out of his son, and Goku's like, any minute now. Until finally, Piccolo, who you are correct, literally was basically raised Gohan for a good chunk and has become a second father to Gohan, looks at Goku, is like, you don't understand your son, do you? He's not a fighter like you. He doesn't fight because he enjoys fighting like you do. He fights because he has to. And right now, he's down there in that fucking ditch wondering why his father is standing by as he's being beaten to death. And Goku's like, oh my God, you're right. Gohan isn't like me. Holy shit. Now, once again, he's kind of proven right because Gohan finally unlocks his inner power and he kicks the shit out of Cell.
Well, he was proven right about his theory.
Yeah, but
again, it was kind of like your methods are questionable.
Yeah, because like, and that's Goku and Gohan spent a year together in the hyperbolic time chamber training to increase their Super Saiyan powers. But it was all training, and it was basically playtime where I don't think Goku really took the time to understand. He thought, my son's just like me. Look at him. He's become a Super Saiyan. He wants to become more powerful. He wants to become a better fighter. But he didn't see why Gohan, what Gohan's motivation was for becoming.
Gohan was just like, time with Dad is fucking great.
Yeah.
This is the first time I've ever gotten this.
Yeah.
Like, it's kind of surprising that Gohan hasn't actually become a super villain.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah, just because that would guarantee him time with Goku.
Yeah. But anyway, so going back to the movie, what do I want to talk about next? So Goku and Vegeta, there's a good chunk of the movie where they're just not in it, or they don't really play an important part in it. So that might be a little weird for some Dragon Ball fans. Like the two main characters aren't in it for a lot of it. But once they are in, it's like gung-ho battle royale, but it's also kind of once again, the action in this movie is done very well paced. So the fighting maneuvers, some use the ki blasts, the Kamehameha, Gallic gun, all those classic attacks and maneuvers, all that good stuff. The one problem I do have with the action is basically the entire third act of the film is nothing but battle with like brief 5 to 10 second moments of supporting characters watching the fighting going on and making comments and whatnot. And after a while, I just kind of got a little tired of some of the fighting because it was so constant and nonstop. As well animated as it was, as exciting as it could be at times, there were moments where I started to lull a little bit. I was like, I kind of brought down. So that part's a little disappointing, just a little bit. However, I will say, without spoilers, the end of this movie, the end of how they ended this film, is very different from how they usually end the Dragon Ball films, the movies. Very different and refreshing, in my opinion. I kind of enjoyed the way that things ended between with the battle with Brawly and several other side characters that were very important.
I got it. You were like, oh, I don't have water for my mouth, but I have water for my soul.
Yes. And the way they end this movie, once again, remember, this is the first Dragon Ball movie that is completely confirmed canon, as in what happens in this movie will happen in the show. And the way they end this movie, sets things up for the next series of the show, the next season, I should say. I think they say series in Japan, but season, as we would say here in the U.S., and it actually makes me kind of interested and excited to see where they're going to go next with the way events end in this film. So yeah, I'm like, okay, because once again, I think they just, in Japan, they're already past the Tournament of Power and they're setting up for the next season. So for here, and I'm just like, okay, well, the way this ends, I'm like, where are things going to go from here? I mean, holy crap. So yeah, I think that's all I have to say about the movie. So, ladies and gentlemen, the question is, do I recommend Dragon Ball Super Broly? And I think I'm gonna piss off our friend Joey Purse here. Yes, I'm sorry. I really enjoyed this film. Honestly,
Joey didn't like it.
Joey didn't. No, he said in a comment earlier he didn't, and I think like I said, some of the problems with the film, I think I can see why. Without going into a few more spoilers, but honestly, I think it's been a while since I've watched some of the other movies. Some of the older ones, like the most recent ones I saw were like the ones I talk about, Battle of Gods and Resurrection of F. Honestly, I think this might be the best Dragon Ball movie they've done. It just good development of the villains. Because there's technically two villains. There's I should say Broly is more of an antagonist, where his father is more the villain of the film. Action is great. The budget really shows in the animation and art. Good backstory or reinvention of the backstories and all that stuff. Yes, I really do. If you are a Dragon Ball fan, I recommend this. If you're not a Dragon Ball fan, up to you. I think this could get you into the series a bit. Just keep in mind that Broly is the character that's is only in the movies previously. But, it has its fun moments. If you're a Dragon Ball fan, I think you're really going to enjoy this. With a few outliers, like, once again, Joey, I'm sorry you didn't enjoy this movie. I do, and I recommend it. So that's all I got to say about Dragon Ball Super Broly. Go see it if you're a Dragon Ball fan. I think you'll have a really great time. But anyway, time to move on to our other movie review, a movie I literally just finished watching an hour ago, or probably an hour and a half ago. But, yeah, our other movie of the night is Serenity. This movie is directed by Stephen Knight and stars Matthew McConaughey and Anne Hathaway. The movie is about a man named Baker Dill, who's a fisherman on a small island in the middle of nowhere called Plymouth, and he's trying to chase this big tuna that he's obsessed with catching. Then all of a sudden, his ex-wife, Karen, played by Anne Hathaway, shows up and requests that he take her current physically abusive husband out in the middle of the sea with the boat and kill him and throw him off because he's being abusive towards her and their son. This movie, I remember seeing a trailer for it quite a while ago. It's a drama. It's a thriller. It'll mess with your head. And ladies and gentlemen, I gotta say, it's fucking hilarious. This movie is so bad.
I was
it's
not.
so
I was
bad.
Not.
I'm sorry.
You caught me off guard here, Vincent. I am just like LeBron came back to Cleveland. I didn't think it was going to happen. Like, you were like, oh yeah, I'm excited to talk about this. I was like, oh, it was good, cool. Like, and then you were like, and they're like, hilarious. And it was like, what? How did they work good jokes into it? And they're like, it was bad. I was like, oh,
this movie is so bad.
Now
I was holding back laughter in the theater.
Better or worse than Predator?
You mean The Predator from last week?
Yes.
I mean, it depends on how you look at it. Like, I thought that movie was just bad because the comedy just didn't fit the universe and it was just dumb, lowbrow humor for The Predator. So, now this movie that's not trying to be humorous is funnier than the movie that was trying to be funny. So, yeah. So, this is like one of those weird things where we've only been doing the show now for about 5-6 months, I think. So we've never had a movie that was like funny bad. You know what I'm saying? So here let's get into this. Let's get into it.
How many? Okay, on a scale of 1 to 5 rooms.
Ooh, 5 being the highest. I said right. Okay.
I mean, highest here being like the worst, but the greatest at the same time.
Okay. 3.
Wow, 3 rooms. Wow.
I don't know. I'm probably overdoing it. It's not as funny as The Room. It's just. I didn't expect it. Like, it's so weird, right? Like, I had a feeling this movie was either going to be at best okay or at worst bad because there was been no fucking advertising for it. And I watched this movie, and I think I was only a minute or two into the film before I was like, eh? And then it was like slowly as the movie went on, more and more I was like, it's kind of weird. This movie's like really weird. And then they have this one. Yeah, this one shot is the scene. Minor spoiler is the scene where Anne Hathaway enters the movie. Right, like the camera's following her from her back, right back, and all of a sudden, it does this panning shot around to her face where it's like, and I was just like, the timing of the panning shot was comedic. It was like something out of like a crazy goofball comedy where like they're introducing like some character. He's just like the asshole villain that's like dumb or something like like takes off the sunglasses or something like, but it's just trying to be serious and dramatic. And some of them, there's just like in one, oh god, I'm just gonna be all over the place because this movie's just like I don't even know where to like really go. The music in the movie is so idiotically placed. Like there's like the big like the drumming like tension music like you were like where things are like racing or things are moving fast. It just comes in the weirdest spots. It's like there's nothing tense going on right now. Why are you playing this music in this moment? Why? And more as the movie went on, I was like, this shit is fucking hilarious. And like the dialogue is so bad too. There's only moments in the film they literally like just like say what is what. There's no subtlety. There's no like, you know, there's no like, oh, like you can infer something from it. They just straight out, Matthew says, I was in the war and I got fucked up. And he just fucking flat out says it. He just says it. And everything is very just, there it is. It's like they put it on a whiteboard to spell it out for you. But at the same time, you're like, just see weird things going on. Like there's characters who aren't acting like people. They're not acting like normal human, like they're just, and like because they live in this like small little island town, right in the middle of nowhere. And it's one of those towns like everybody knows everything that's going on in the town. It's like one of those little small towns, but it's like, why do you know that? That's like, how do you know that already? There's no way the gossip could have gotten around that quick. Or like, how do you know that when they were having a private conversation on the fucking boat and like I don't know what's going on. Oh god, just all the characters are bad. Like the abusive husband of Anne Hathaway's character, played by Jason Clarke. He's just so two-dimensional. He's like the alcoholic, rich, conceited. I'm better than everybody. I push my money around. I talk like a jackass type character. It's just like I want to feel bad for Anne Hathaway because she's getting the shit kicked out of her by this guy, which we never really see the beatings. But he's just such a dumb antagonist bad guy. It's just like, am I supposed to take this seriously? He's not intimidating. He's just some asshole. There's really a moment in the film where he's trying to like convince Matthew McConaughey's character to take them out on the boat, and he's like offering him ridiculous money, and Matthew McConaughey's like, can't take you out on the boat. I don't have a first mate right now. It'd be illegal to take you out without a first mate. And he's like, take your cock out of your mouth and just take us out. And he literally says that. I'm just like, what is this dialogue? Am I supposed to take anything happening seriously? And Matthew McConaughey is fucking nuts in this movie. Like seriously, in the first minute, he does this crazy shit into like these people. And I'm like, okay, that's where we're starting with the character. Because like they're trying to make out like he's obsessed with catching this fish, and I'm like, okay, he's really crazy about catching this like giant tuna thing. He's like this old man in the sea, but shittier, and just and but later in the film you find out like oh, he was in the war and he's got like PTSD or something, and I don't think there's an accurate representation of PTSD, but he just keeps acting goofier and crazier and like try to make him like he's like the grizzled apathetic guy that's tried to leave his past, but like kind of like a Casablanca deal. He's trying to leave his past behind me. He's moved on, but he's just like, but he ain't no fucking Humphrey Bogart. I'll say that shit. And that's the weird part about this film. There's like you know notable talented actors and actresses in this film. You got Matthew McConaughey, Anne Hathaway, Diane Lane's in this film. Jason Clarke, he's a good actor. I've seen him in other good stuff. Oh god, I always screw up this guy's name. Jimon Hunso, I can't remember. I always screw up his name. He was in Guardians of the Galaxy. He was in, I think that was him in Gladiator. Yeah. The
badass dude.
Yeah. Wait, hold on. I'll bring up a picture.
Yeah.
That's the guy. Yeah. He was in Blood Diamond. Yeah.
He was in Never Back Down.
Yeah. So yeah,
That's right. I brought up the
never back that freaking like Karate Kid
B-level
knockoff.
MMA movie. Yup.
The MMA Kid coming to a theater near you. So yeah, there's good actors. Let me look at this director, Stephen Knight. I feel like I've heard that name before. What is this guy? Stephen Knight. What has he directed before?
As long as he's not related to M. Night, I'm not concerned.
I don't know any of these other things he's directed. It's like he directs every 5 years or something. Like the last movie he directed was called Locke, and that was in 2013. It looks like he's mostly a writer. What has he written? I got never heard of it. Never heard of that. Never heard of that. Never heard of that. A TV show called The Detectives from 1993, 1997. Never heard of it. Gypsy. What the? Has he written anything of note? Amazing Grace. He was a writer on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? Fucking hell. Redemption Lock, 100-Foot Journey? I think I kind of was close. Seventh Son. Oh, I remember that movie. That movie was dumb. Burnt Allied, Woman Was November, Criminal. The Girl in the Spider's Web. He did the screenplay for that. He wrote this one, too. He wrote Serenity. Something called Taboo. He's written for Peaky Blinders, which I haven't seen that show. I've heard of it. Something called Rio, which I guess is not the... He's writing a Christmas Carol TV series that's in pre-production? What the fuck? And he's writing World War Z 2. Who the fuck is this guy? Why are they giving him shit to do? I am so fucked up right now. Why is this guy, man, giving... Oh, god damn it. I mean, going back to the movie. So... God damn it. God, I don't know what to talk about this. Yeah. So the camera work in this movie is silly and funny. They do one more of that, like, goofy kind of panning shot. They do one with Matthew McConaughey, but it's like kind of going back and forth, like this weird quick angles, like right, and like they do this thing in the movie where like they kind of make out to be like Matthew McConaughey has some kind of spiritual connection to his son, who's also being a victim of the abuse of like the drunken rich asshole husband. But it's like done so dumb and comically. You know, this movie is like one of those movies where it thinks it's way smarter than it really is. You know what I mean? Like it's saying it's being so smart and clever and nuanced when really it feels like it was written by somebody who just got a concussion. It's just like nothing's making sense. And eventually they have this. Once again, I find myself in a moment where like we don't like to do spoilers much. I try to avoid any major spoilers. But this movie is so bad. It's so I feel like telling this one spoiler where they have this twist / reveal in the movie that starts to make things make sense, but then just makes the movie that much dumber and that much funnier. I won't flat out say what it is. I'll give a clue because I don't think there's gonna be that many people who get this reference. I think Eric might get it. Eric might get it too. They about somewhere around the beginning of the third act of the film, they fucking pull a Saint Elsewhere. And if you know what that show is, and you know how that show ended, you know what that reference. You know what I'm saying. Eric's looking at me like,
Wait.
You remember Saint Elsewhere from the 80s? Remember?
Are you telling me that they're all in a fucking snow globe?
Spoilers. We're getting into fucking spoilers. Okay, we're going to get into spoilers, and it doesn't matter. Here's the thing. Here it goes. So it turns out, now I've said twice in this review that the island town called Plymouth, it seems like a Caribbean island maybe, but there's mostly white people on it. Once again, it's in the middle of nowhere. Reason being is, it is nowhere. This whole movie is taking place in a fisherman simulator video game that the son is playing. And everything happening is it's happening in his own little world. For those who aren't watching on the live stream, Eric is at he tried to say something, but his dignity would not allow him to say it.
You know what?
What?
It's like someone was like, you know what? You know it was a stupid show. Lost. You know how, like, it just turns out they were on the island the whole time? And I know that might not really be... I didn't get all the way through. After they did the sideways thing, why am I watching? You're clearly just trying to fill time because you signed a 3-season contract at one point. They were like, how can we be... I know. Let's make it a fishing video game. Vince, I think that's about all the time we have.
Okay, so I'll just make my recommendation. As you know, the rules for me recommending a movie are, if it's okay or lower, I don't recommend it, because I don't want to recommend something that's even okay. Good or better, that's what I recommend. Funny enough, I am going to recommend this film. It is...
Holy shit, Vincent! You weren't just dropping left hooks all over the place. I did not see that coming.
I'm recommending it because it is so funny how bad it is. Don't go see it in the theaters. Don't do that. Wait till it comes out like on Netflix or Redbox or something. Get a couple of your friends, grab some beers, maybe a little weed, and just
hi, Serenity.
Yeah. And just enjoy how fucking awful, hilariously bad this film is. From poor script, a wondrously weird, poor acting from really good actors, just fucking dumb ideas, bad directing, bad cinematography, bad fucking just fuck. Holy fuck, was this movie funny. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, that's all we got for the POVincent podcast this week. If you do enjoy the show and you'd like to support it, please head to patreon.com/POVincent or at POVincent on Venmo if you'd like to donate to the show. Thank you to the River's Edge for always hosting this show. We really appreciate it. Hope you all enjoyed the episode tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, y'all take it easy. I'm going to go laugh my ass off a little more about Matthew McConaughey on a game simulator fucking boat. I'm sorry.
Good night.
Good night. See you next week.